I have a lot of you asking questions, and thank you so much for sending me your question. Very appropriate about for this segment is actually a question that showed up is, um, what do we do when we argue about finances in our in our relationship, in our intimate relationship? Whether you are married or, in this case, the person says that they are engaged and they're living together, they want to know what do they do so that they don't constantly get into an argument. Well, it really depends on the philosophy and the management of the money, and maybe even the philosophy in management of the money. Some traditional relationships have come to some agreement where one person, usually the male partner, chooses to be the breadwinner and sometimes the management of the actual finances of the couple. Sometimes you'll see there's an agreement for one, maybe the male, or sometimes the female, to be the highest breadwinner, but the other person, maybe the wife or the husband, actually manages the money. And managing, what I mean is to really look at um, what are the bills, what are the expenses, how do they get paid every week, and then they can come together and start budgeting. Sometimes when they are engaged, they might still look at the modern marriages of having both parties contribute financially, regardless of who brings more money, and then they manage it together. Or sometimes they are very clear where, we earn, we put it in a separate account, and we will, each one of us will pay certain bills, and we don't have to ever merge this financial concept. Yeah, some people work for them. What I've noticed with most of the couples is that they actually have to come to an agreement. People usually don't talk about money. They feel shame, they feel embarrassed, they feel a little bit intimidated to start talking about finances. One is how much the other person actually makes. It's as if it's a secret. And when you're coming to be engaged, living together, or actually wanting to be married, obviously, especially if you're married, as far as the law is concerned, your finances are pretty much together. You're going to be responsible and accountable for your finances and probably your husband. So it's important for the two-person to come together and look at what is it that my philosophy is. What is it that I can come through and merge with the other person's philosophy? Come together with some agreement. There's some people who have businesses which they can't merge everything that they have in a business, but they can definitely come to terms with how much salary they're going to give themselves from the business and put it into an account together so they can see it, be aware of it, have the information, and move forward with budgeting. Information, transparency, having an open hand, uh, being willing to give the other person the information is the key. It's important for us to create that type of a trust. When we sit together, two couples, and look at what is it that we bring, what is it that our expenses are like, how can we budget together, how can we honor each other's taste and what needs to be happening, how can we make it fair between the two of us? Whatever fairness looks like between the two people, and whatever fairness looks like within the agreement that they put together. Some of these things can also be cultural, where the culture itself, the culture of the marriage and their upbringing and their family of origin system kind of dictated to them what the culture of financial earning and management and responsibility and power be. And sometimes they'll go back and look at that and just kind of like bring the same format into their marriage. Again, if there's an agreement between the couple for a traditional way of a family structure to come in, great. As the point is how to get to that agreement. Many people feel powerless and the other person holds all the power. If the breadwinner is the one who holds all the power, the other person feels like I have to constantly go and beg the other person for money, or that my vote or what I need is not counted. And those are the times that resentments guilt build. After 30 years of with working with couples, finances is one of the biggest issues of argument and biggest issue of non-trust, much more than infidelity. Finances are the biggest issues of non-trust between the couple. And you know, everything you do all day ultimately is going to come back to some sort of a financial decision together. So my suggestion is if you can't come to an agreement, call a coach, call me. Let me support you in creating that. If you can, on your own, sit down and write all of your expenses together as you live together, the most important ones that are happening every week, the most important ones that are not set, but you need it. And then you set up the priorities about all how you're going to create your spreadsheet. Come back and look at it every month together, create budgets together, and you can move forward. This way, you'll create trust, transparency, a sense of togetherness in decision making and power. And that usually lessens all the arguments and creates the feeling of safety and security that comes and then fosters the trust and love. Thank you.